Hi there, and welcome to the Saskatchewan Centre for Patient-Oriented Research instructional video that will walk you through filling out the expense claim form and the reimbursement process for your patient and family advisors. We're going to keep using the example from earlier videos of our patient and family advisor, Wendy, who needs to travel from Saskatoon to Regina for a one-day meeting on January 31st. Wendy needs to leave the night before the meeting, and she's going to be paying for her hotel accommodations, mileage, meals, and parking at the venue where the meeting will be held. And because she's paying out of pocket, she'll be incurring expenses for participation in the meeting. In the PFA processes, the expense claim form comes at the end. So we've already looked at in earlier videos filling out the pre-expense authorization, which happens before the meeting, filling out the confirmation of logged hours, which is tied to the PFA honoraria, which happens after the meeting. And now we're going to be filling out an expense claim form, which also happens after the meeting. You can submit an expense claim form to HQC on behalf of your patient and family advisor, but please know that any expense claim form that has been submitted must be signed by the PFA. In our work with patient and family advisors, a best practice is to pre-fill as much of the form as possible for your PFA. The information that you can pre-fill on the form for your PFA includes their name, the travel authorization number if they will be claiming anything related to travel expenses, the event or activity, and the program budget code. There are original receipts required for parking, taxis, accommodations if paid for by the PFA, air travel if paid for by the PFA, and other associated expenses. Examples can include child or elder care, taxis, or baggage costs for air travel. You can find a copy of the expense claim form on the skipper.ca website by scrolling over to the Researcher tab and on the submenu selecting PFA reimbursement processes and forms. Scroll down on the web page until you see the button that says click here to access the PFA expense claim form. When you open the expense claim form from the Skipper website, it will open up in a protected view. Just click this yellow button that says enable editing, and the spreadsheet will change so that you can enter in expenses. So I went ahead and entered in the information for our fictitious PFA from our earlier example, Wendy Smith, with the address here and a travel authorization. Now we can go ahead and start entering in the expenses for this PFA's travel. We're going to start with the first day of travel, which was the day before the meeting on January 30th. The event or activity was the Skipper PFAC meeting, and the program is not the program name, but the budget number. Program is not the program name, but the budget number at HQC. If you do not know your budget number, you can contact the HQC admin coordinator and can obtain it that way, or just simply leave it blank and you can put a comment in the comment box that it was for, let's say you're a Sprout grant recipient. You could put a Sprout team and your last name. But this is an example for the Skipper PFAC meeting, so we'll just leave the comment blank. I typed in the number of kilometers for the mileage from Saskatoon to Regina for the entire trip, and you will notice that the spreadsheet automatically calculates it for you. Please note that as of February 1st, 2019, the per kilometer rate is 45.35 cents per kilometer, and this is reviewed regularly, approximately twice a year. And please note that receipts are not needed for mileage as we pay a flat rate. So we spoke to the PFA on the phone when we were filling out our pre-expense authorization form, and we found that on the day before the meeting, the PFA was going to be traveling between breakfast and lunch. So the PFA will be submitting an expense claim form to be reimbursed for the cost of lunch during that day of travel. So we just click on the box, click yes. The spreadsheet automatically fills in the per diem rate for us. And the PFA will also be claiming reimbursement for supper on the same day of travel. So we can go ahead and fill out the expenses that were incurred on the day of the meeting. We'll use the same information from the line above. And we are going to be putting in lodging, which is the cost for room and tax for the hotel that the PFA stayed at the night before. And if you recall from the earlier example, the room and tax came to $156.27. A receipt will be needed for this expense. Our patient and family advisor had to pay for parking at the venue where the meeting was held, and it was $25. A receipt will be needed for this expense. Because breakfast was provided by the hotel and lunch was provided at the meeting, the PFA will not be claiming reimbursement for these two expenses. The PFA was traveling home after the meeting and was going to be arriving home after 7:00 p.m. on January 31st. Because of this, the PFA will be claiming for supper, so we'll click yes, and this is the auto-calculated rate. Now all you need to do is have the patient and family advisor sign here and date this, and you can send it to HQC for processing. So if your PFA has incurred expenses that don't have any receipts, so mileage or meals, that expense claim form can be sent directly by email to accounting@hqc.ca. If, on the other hand, your expense claim form that you're going to be submitting for your PFA has receipts, then it can be mailed to Health Quality Council at 241-111 Research Drive in Saskatoon, S7N 3R2. If there are no mistakes in the completion of the expense claim form, your PFA can expect to receive a check reimbursing their costs incurred at your meeting within 2 to 4 weeks. That brings us to the end of filling out the PFA expense claim form. Thank you for watching. Please visit us at skipper.ca.